And there's no real time to even say hello today because there's so much going on in Israel. But even with that, we do have a couple of things to discuss and to announce. Uh, it wouldn't have to be birthdays, would it, Hanok?
Well, the music playing in the background, I don't know if you can hear it, is da na 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 na. You say it's your birthday. So yeah, it could very well be.
Okay, go for it.
First on top, the man that I thought would never age, Barry Phillips. Wow, Barry, happy birthday. You know, I'm going to get to see Barry in another month
Oh,
in beautiful Virginia. So we'll have to celebrate then, which
yeah.
is great. But there's actually another birthday that just happened the other day, very close to you. A happy birthday to Alex Stiles. Alex, beloved husband of Mary, Connor Stiles, and dad of James and Judd, two of our favorite young listeners.
That's true.
So happy birthday to you guys. Now, of course, we jump into what has been, let's just say, a very busy Newsweek cycle.
Yeah.
Uh, First of all, this happened last week. I didn't get to mention it, but you know, here in Israel, of course, and anyone who loves Israel, as you do, Mike, truly appreciates whenever Israel hits a number one spot in something like, you know, beats all categories. Well, this is one that none of us are proud of because Tel Aviv passed Paris to become the most expensive city in the world.
Oh, wow.
Not great,
Yeah.
not great at all. I read something the other day that prices here in the last year across the board have gone up 22%.
Wow.
Somehow they tie that in to the shekel's strength compared to the dollar weakening, but I can't figure that out.
Mm.
The only thing is petrol, gas prices here are going down.
Mm.
So figure out how the heck that's possible. Anyway, well, this is where I step on some toes. Oh no. We have to talk about Donald Trump. Remember the guy that used to be president of the United States of America? Well, it turns out some Israeli journalist has been working with Trump to come out with a book about how wonderful Trump is with the Abraham Accords, the
Okay.
Trump's peace plan. Now, in those interviews, the information has begun to be leaked about what it, and I think we already spoke about it, how he said some really nasty things about Bibi Netanyahu.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but there's something about Donald Trump that prevents him from having any restraint whatsoever. And he went on to make the following series of statements. Number one, the Golan Heights. He said, this is Trump saying, he said, I asked David Friedman, who is the American ambassador to Israel at the time, to give me in 5 minutes the whole story about the Golan Heights.
Wow.
Okay. He said he stopped him after 1 minute and he said, okay, so it's high, so that would be strategic. Okay. And then Trump said, I gave a $10 billion gift to Bibi before the elections. Now, that analysis of the Golan Heights, high, it must be strategic. I'm sure that if we gathered around the table, Elizabeth Connor and James and Judd Stiles, three of our youngest, you know, ranging in age from 7 to 8, they could come up with a more sophisticated analysis and understanding of the Golan Heights.
Yeah.
Okay? But it gets better. He goes on to say that Bibi never really wanted peace and was just stringing him along.
Hmm.
Mahmoud Abbas, he said, was far more sincere and was, quote, like a father. Now, to some of our listeners who are, that if Trump wasn't heralding the coming of the Messiah, he was certainly the donkey that was bringing him in. Donkeys and other creatures leave a trail behind them. I know a little bit about agriculture and animals. Yeah, that's where I mean, this was unbelievable. This was unbelievable. Now, before y'all think that I'm really, really trashing, but it gets better. It gets, now remember, Mahmoud Abbas, the dictator that runs the Palestinian Authority, wrote his doctoral dissertation on why the Holocaust never happened. Okay, this guy is okay. Trump said that he personally stopped the idea of granting sovereignty in part of Judea and Samaria because he was angry at Bibi. Now, a lot of our listeners, a lot of our dearest friends believe there's a direct correlation between how America treats Israel and what happens in America. Yeah. I'm not touching that one, but I'm saying it would be a real sorry situation to think that the payback to America for Trump is Biden. Because this guy, okay, so Blinken, I've been thinking America's Secretary of State meets with Benny Gantz, our Minister of Defense, and he insists that the time that they have together be split 50-50. Half the time they can talk about Iran, but the other half they have to talk about the settlements. Because the settlements in the mind of the current American administration, God willing, soon may it be the former American administration, is that is as much of a challenge to world peace as Iran getting nukes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
This is, you can't make this stuff up. This is crazy nuts cuckoo personified.
Well, I mean, to the point, Hanok, that I saw somewhere, I can't find it right now. There it is. So there was a terrorist eliminated. I love the word eliminated in clashes in Shem, modern day Nablus. And so this is the IDF going after a terrorist. The terrorist throws explosives at the IDF. The IDF eliminates them, but the Palestinian Authority makes a statement: eliminating a terrorist is execution.
This is, I grew up watching cartoons, which, I mean, based on my level of maturity, shouldn't surprise any of our listeners. Okay.
Not going there.
I never really understood Alice in Wonderland. It was too, I'm positively, and I think more of the, Jefferson Airplane, one pill makes you larger and one pill makes you small. Well, we are in a world where the pills have gotten all mixed up. And we're not in the red pills or the blue pills. We are in the crazy nuts cuckoo rainbow pills. This is insane. But let's keep going because we've got so much more to cover.
Go for it.
The drumbeats of the coming wars, plural, are getting louder and louder. I mentioned it first a few weeks ago. The frequent things. Now, one thing came up which really was distressing. General Kochavi, who's our chief of staff, 3 times between 2019 and 2020, he approached Prime Minister Netanyahu about a budget to enable the IDF to begin preparing for real strikes against Iran. But remember, Netanyahu wouldn't sign a budget because he wanted to remain in power. He didn't want to honor his agreement with Benny Gantz and give Gantz the last, years. Okay. So we had no budget and we haven't been preparing. We're preparing now.
Okay.
Is it too little, too late? God forbid we find out. Now, meanwhile, within the plan, because Iran is so far away from us, by the way, Iran can fire a ballistic missile and it would arrive in Israel in 1 hour. Okay. Now, the Times of Tehran, there is evidently such a periodical, came out today with a map of Israel with red dots all over it, showing all the places that they will hit should we Zionists, act up and merit it.
Well,
okay, but let's keep going. Israel has arranged to purchase these massive tankers, planes that can refuel in the air, and because of the distance that's necessary, Israel has requested that the delivery schedule be sped up. The Biden administration is, I was just about to make a gesture with fingers. Let's not do that. The Biden administration has told us where to go and how to get there. That those cannot be delivered until 2024.
Yeah.
Now, does it have anything to do with the fact that 2024 is an American election? I don't know. But as we, again, you go back to the Talmud, Masechet Sanhedrin, the tractate Sanhedrin, where it says at times like this, no es bueno. This is not good. That's Aramaic. To some of you, it may sound like Spanish, but that's just my New York accent. Oh, meanwhile, you had Naftali Bennett overnight with no fanfare go to the United Arab Emirates. Normally, when a head of state visits another head of state, it is, weeks or months in advance and pomp and circumstances. So something's going on. Something's cooking in the kitchen. What's cooking? We don't know. Does this have anything at all to do with the 50 F-35s that the United Arab Emirates is supposed to be purchasing from America? That America has been, moving slowly on? At this time, we don't know. Meanwhile, what happened the other day? We bombed a chemical weapons facility in Syria. I'm confused because one of the things that America has stated unequivocally, take that one to the bank, is that they will never allow Syria to gain chemical weapons. But it's us in Israel that bombed it. But what's going on meanwhile in Lebanon at a Palestinian refugee camp? By the way, what's her name in Congress? Rashida Tlaib, whatever her name is.
One of the squad.
Okay. Yeah. Do you know, this is really funny, that even though it's her family that moved to America and she's in the US Congress, she's still listed on the UNRWA rolls as a Palestinian refugee. She's still a Palestinian refugee. Okay, so let's get back. So in Lebanon, a Palestinian camp, refugee camp, had a major explosion there. We didn't do it. It was an accident. It was a weapons depot for Hamas. Now, just for our listeners that may be confused, Hamas are the terrorists in Gaza.
Yeah.
Hezbollah are the terrorists that control the country of Lebanon. Hamas is preparing for a second front. Now, understand, in the next war or wars, we've got in the north alone, Lebanon and Syria, you've even got Hamas. I mean, Hamas isn't saying, well, we'll just let Hezbollah take care of it. No, they're prepared. Expect for Jews to be attacked worldwide.
Yeah.
And already IDF a few weeks ago said something like, in the event, well, we never say in the event of, in the next war,
Mm-hmm.
that certain areas of the country that we normally send convoys up, let's say like Wadi Ara across the Galilee, we will not be sending because we anticipate serious attacks from Arab Israelis.
Mm.
Yeah, well, I basically did that on 2 short breaths. And it's actually a really good time. I'm not one of those people who walk around saying it's the end of the world as we know it. The end times could be, for better or worse, several generations. So we continue to build here in Israel. We continue, and there is a revolution, a good one, going on in our religious ministry. Minister Matan Kahana is coming up with all kinds of great things. Maybe when we're together, when I'm in Franklin in a few weeks, we'll have a chance to talk more about it, and I can go into a lot of detail. We're moving forward. For those who want to just sit and not really be part of the restoration and not really, try to pull together, you know what?
Yeah.
No es mi problema. I'm not dealing with that anymore. I'm not, I'm not Liberty on the barricades, waving the, follow me. No. You want to, you want to be with me? I mean, you saw recently, I put a post up on Facebook. People wanted to go, going nuts about it. Because the reality is, what I thought was the most basic concept of everything that I've taught over all these years, the concept of mutual respect, seems to be the hardest and seems to be the litmus test. Either you are or you're, or in the words of "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?" is you or is you ain't my constituency.
Yeah. Okay, let's go back to this thing with the wars.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the picture here, for those that have been to Israel, you understand when we're up on at Banyas, how close everything is. You understand that when we're standing there at boy, it's been way too long. Mount Bental, I can't remember the places. How long? It's been way too long since I've been there. Mount Bental, and you're looking out into Kanatra. You're looking into these different countries. You can see Jordan. You're surrounded. Okay, you've got Lebanon, Syria, Gaza, Iran, all of these, and then this, of course, those that you're friendly with, which is Egypt and Jordan. Yeah, that could fall apart pretty fast.
Our pals.
And so in the midst of that, then you have all of these Israeli Arabs or Palestinian Arabs that are within the country. So a war breaks out, and it's not just that you're having to defend yourself from missiles and tanks and all this stuff coming in from outside. You're wondering if your next door neighbor is going to stab you. That's beyond comprehension right now.
Okay.
For most people.
This is why one of the things that I will be sharing in a few weeks as I travel around America. And what's interesting is I finally just yesterday afternoon got all the final details of street addresses that we in fact we communicated about that yesterday. And I'm looking at this and I'm saying I'm going to be in 14 different cities across 8 states, speaking 20 times. And there are times, I'll be honest with you, where I wonder if I'm spitting in the wind. But I feel called to reach out and embrace the people that I believe are my brothers and sisters. And sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't. And remember, it's funny. I saw a number of people posting about this, and I never really focused on it. My focus on the Joseph story was always about how he embraced his brothers,
Yeah.
and he didn't, it was unequivocally, he didn't take revenge. And I really skipped over the part of when they were about to leave, and he said, "Oh, by the way, yous don't be quarreling, along the way." See, I'm trying. People seem to be upset when I say y'all, so I'm going to go back to like yous, yous guys. So why am I so optimistic? Is it just because I keep taking pure energy packets? Well, that could be. But I'll give you another reason. I was going into Jerusalem early. I guess it was about 2 weeks ago. I think it was still during Hanukkah. And the way it works in the little bus station in Modi'in is when the bus pulls in, they flick a switch and the door on the inside opens up, and then you go and you get on the bus. So having grown up with a mom, Aleh Shalom, a blessed memory, who would slap me if I didn't hold the door for the next person. She really did. She really did. I held the door as I'm walking through, and I see, through my, and I don't turn well to my left, as you know,
Yeah.
but I see through my peripheral vision, the hand, it obviously was a woman soldier because she was wearing the sweater. The IDF has certain sweaters, only the women wear them. Or if you see a guy wearing a sweater, what it means is he's not in a combat unit. Our combat soldiers wear their sleeves rolled up with no jackets in the winter.
Yeah.
They're more hardcore than I am.
Sure.
Anyway, and I see in my peripheral vision, instead of holding the door, she reaches up to kiss, to touch the mezuzah, to bring it to her lips and kiss. So I get on, and I'm curious as to who this woman soldier is. And she gets on, and she's, if you picture the size between Elizabeth Connor and Marky Connor, but closer to Elizabeth, this is the soldier. Okay. She's got glasses, little blonde streaks in her hair. Cute thing. I mean, maybe she's 19 and a half, maybe. But her beret, which tells the unit that she's in Karakal. Karakal is the co-ed combat unit that serves on the Jordanian border.
Ooh.
So this young girl, instead of going from party to party, spends her nights locked and loaded to protect us. And when I say us, I don't just mean physically Hanoch et al. You, who I know are as much a part of Israel as I am. So that's my cause for optimism. But every moment that Hanoch is optimistic, I feel like Al Pacino, someone comes and just drag me back down. Like who? Like Avigdor Lieberman, our finance minister, who in an interview on Sunday said, tour guides and tour operators need to find another profession. Now, people have written to me saying, is that the end of tourism in Israel? And the answer is absolutely not. He is a boorish, loudmouth, impulsive guy from Moldova, from the former Soviet Union. Someone said to me facetiously on Monday that the reason Lieberman doesn't care about tour guides is there aren't enough Russian-speaking tour guides to vote for his party, Yisrael Beitenu. Could very well be. because everything here is politics. What he was saying, though, is that as finance minister, don't expect a single shekel from me. Y'all went through 2021 hungry. You're going to be just as hungry in 2022 until tourism comes back. And tourism will come back. It's only a matter of time. Prime Minister Bennett is more sympathetic, but Lieberman, I would say he will never get my vote again, but I never voted for this clown.
Yeah. I saw something on Facebook. Was there some kind of a demonstration or something? The tour guides were kind of uniting.
Well, there was a demonstration at Ben Gurion Airport.
Okay.
The problem is there's no one who is arranging for any kind of continuous, like setting up a tent in front of the prime minister's residence. Not, I know people who actually thought that would get the government to change their mind. Let me give you an example. The laws change here tomorrow that those without a green pass, which means they're either proven vaccinated or and again, our records are digital. I can hold up my phone and it's got all the information there and can be scanned, or that you've recovered from COVID. If you don't have that, you will not be able to go into a mall in Israel, except for essential services, like we have pharmacies in the mall. There's the post office is here. Okay. So there was a reason I was mentioning this, and it fell out of my big fat head. Okay, well, forget that one then. What's going to happen is we're going to finish the recording, and then I'm going to remember.
And then you'll figure it out. I'll
figure it out. So anyway,
so you guys are going to have a green pass to go into places. This stuff's getting out of hand. Who knows where it's going to go from here. So, well, you'll be able to come to the States and have. You're going to be in mostly conservative states, I think, and it should be
except for Virginia.
Yeah, well, Barry's working on that.
Barry, forgive me for saying that, Barry, please.
Barry's working on that, but between him and Cletus, I think we should be able to get that. So we'll find out.
Yeah, of course, the Republic of Texas, Florida, which so, and of course, lovely downtown Franklin, North Carolina.
There you go. All right.
So
looking
excited.
Forward to it.
So excited.
Okay, one more week down, and we will see you next Wednesday. Bezrat Hashem.
Yeah, wow. We're gonna have to figure out while I'm on the road how to do this. Well, we could figure that out.
Yeah,
that's not a problem.
Yeah, I'm sure we'd work it out if we can make it happen from Mo to Eden. If we can make it happen from Mo to Eden, we can make it happen from wherever.
Do you realize January will be exactly 2 years? It's our 2-year anniversary, Mike, of the Israel updates.
Oh, very good.
January 2020.
Okay, well,
wasn't it? It's when the Abraham Accords were announced.
Oh, that's true. Okay. Well, happy anniversary ahead of time.
Do. You say it's your anniversary, something like that.
See you next week, man.
See ya. Bye.